How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and welcome back to another poorly played mission of Civilization 4 Warlords. We are playing the Rise of Rome scenario currently, and as you might have remembered, I was not doing too well in the happiness department here, mostly from cruel oppression, but we did actually manage to take Athens in the last episode, and now we're going to be focusing on Sparta as soon as possible. Get a couple of these Praetorians back in Athens. Make sure it's not easily recaptured, and then we're just going to fortify them there for a turn or two, make everything else outside sleep to protect those stacks, and we actually have catapults over here that we can use. A trebuchet. I'm actually tempted to get a galley over here to transport that trebuchet over to the new front. I'm not sure if I want to make peace with Alexander and then focus on Carthage. It's a good question, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do about that. Okay, we want to build a cottage here. Remember, we're working on our cottage industry as quickly as possible. We have our first great general, so the question is, what do we do with it? Do we settle the great general in a city or build a military academy for 50% military unit production, or do we make a superpowered Praetorian? I'm personally in favor of making a superpowered Praetorian or trebuchet. I say trebuchet because leading a trebuchets are very powerful in this game, and I might actually want to do that instead. So here we have El Cid. Does not necessarily make historical sense, but okay. And I think we're going to lead the trebuchet with this. So we're going to have to protect the trebuchet, but overall this would make this trebuchet very powerful against, it will be the first in line to take cities. And that's what I'm planning to do with it, because I'm going to be able to give it quite a few different promotions. Okay, fortify these units that are in Athens, and what should we work on next in Neapolis? Why are we so unhappy here? Just too crowded. I need luxury resources. I could build a Colosseum, but it would take 7 turns. I think that might actually be the best long-term investment here, because it's going to be a while before we can actually get access to additional luxury resources. So we're going to go a Colosseum in 7 turns. Turns there. And then build culture in Athens until we can actually get our borders to expand. One thing you have to keep in mind in Warlords is that borders or culture will not stop being produced even after the borders expand, unlike in Civilization Beyond the Sword. Neapolis is going to run out of... Focus on production. No? Focus on production? Okay, they're going to starve here anyway, so we might as well focus on production. I was going to make some point about culture in Warlords, and that was that if you build culture in your cities, it does not, unlike in Beyond the Sword, stop after the borders expand one time. So you have to keep an eye on that yourself. Okay, we have the trireme, and Greece has a trireme and a galley there. This trireme is still not healed. So I think we're going to just let this one sleep here until his partner catches up. So here we have our overpowered trebuchet. I think the first thing we want to do is give it city attack promotions, because we're going to be using it primarily against cities. The trebuchet either has to be used inside cities or attacking cities to really be effective. So that's an additional 175 city attack damage. We could give it leadership, which will allow it to gain experience faster. We could give it a higher withdrawal chance. Currently it can withdraw from combat 25%. So that would increase it to 55, but in general, I find it just better to increase the strength of these units. So, one thing I want to see. What are our current odds against... Okay, we can't see that city. I was gonna ask what the odds were like. Were they incredibly good? I think we're just gonna go with combat 1. And in a couple of more turns, a couple more turns of combat, we'll actually get an additional promotion. So, pretty close to a second promotion on that one. Okay, our fishing boats got pillaged, and the city is now happy. And we'll have a Colosseum built in 4 turns, which means, of course, that we can go ahead and build the fishing boats then. Fishing boat's not a huge loss overall. Here's the phalanx. He's coming after me with it. You'd better. I think we can actually start moving out here. So I think we have a trebuchet. Yes, indeed, we do. We have a trebuchet in that city. Let's sail the galley into the city and select it again, unload it. And now we have a couple of trebuchets to move into the fray as well. We're going to keep that new Praetorian there, but we're also going to take one of these catapults. And then I'm going to start moving some of these Praetorians out of Athens. Like so. I think we want to grab all the healed catapults, the ones that aren't damaged currently. See, the thing about catapults is they don't take collateral damage. We're actually losing 1 gold per turn, but it's manageable. Okay. I think we're going to keep 2 Praetorians in the city to guard it. It is on a hill, so it enjoys a significant bonus for that. Honestly, I don't think I should promote catapults for city attack, now that I think about it. And I'm actually going to promote this Praetorian for healing. It's good to have at least 1 healer per stack. Fortunately, he's not going to be in the stack per se. Yeah, but see, we're going to be promoting trebuchets for attacking cities because that's what they do well, and then we're going to be promoting catapults just with general strength to take care of any potential in-the-field stacks that we encounter. Unfortunately, he took the exact square that I was keen on traveling to myself. So I guess instead, okay, our borders here have expanded. Let's start producing something else. We are incurring a significant amount of maintenance for this city, so I think a courthouse might be in order for that city. And then we're just going to continue on. We're going to pretend as if he did not move to the space that I wanted to use. And we're going to continue moving our stack forward towards Sparta. I forget, what was the city that we're trying to capture down there? Yes, indeed, it is Sparta. So now this was a strange city because we had a lot of food here, but very little. That's interesting. I should actually build another mine. This could be a quite nice powerhouse in terms of productivity here, rather than working that sea tile there. So I think we're going to build another mine to the north. And we currently have another Praetorian here. And I want to keep him around this border because there is a very real chance that somebody could come marching along over here. So we're going to give him a combat 1 promotion, and then we're just going to station him up on there to keep an eye out in case, let's say, for example, Greece sends some units coming that way, or barbarian units start coming down from like mainland Europe, because there is a fair amount of empty space up there for barbarians to populate, let's say. Okay, so we have built the Praetorian. Once again, like, how bad? See, the maintenance here is not that great. So I'm thinking more military. Keep the pressure on. Trebuchet is nice, but I think overall another Praetorian is about the best we can do. As you can see, so when I selected the Praetorian, they switched production to the hill, which means that a mine is definitely going to be a welcome improvement there. Rome, why are you so unhappy? It's just too crowded. So Rome, as a forum in 14 turns, we can sacrifice 3 population to finish it now. I agree. Let's do that. I think we took a significant hit to our gold production, but this, in the long run, this is going to be advantageous for us. Luckily, he did not take the tile once again that I wanted, so we're going to move onto this hill. And we're that much closer to taking Sparta. He has already upgraded to Archer number 2, as you can see right there. Overall, actually, I might want to station those Praetorians on top of that mine instead. That way they're within my borders and I don't have to pay maintenance for it. Yeah, so the forum did a lot of good here in Rome. As you can see, I used to be losing about 9 gold per turn, and just completing that forum has increased our gold production quite significantly by about 4 gold per turn. So it's going to add up over time. Rome is obviously our economic powerhouse, so that's why it was a good idea. We could take this Isle of the city of Syracuse from Greece. I think that will be our next target, and then we'll just pretty much control the entire Mediterranean here. That would be pretty cool when I go after Carthage as well. So we're sort of island hopping over to the main city of Carthage itself. That's the plan at the moment. Trebuchet, that's our powerful Trebuchet. Our great general Trebuchet. This city is also unhappy because this city is going to be kind of sucky, to be honest. I think what I might want to do is take a couple of these tiles away from the nearby city, and then we're going to build... No, we're not going to build a workshop. We're going to build a cottage there. Working those tiles will introduce more hammers into that city's productivity, though, which will mean that I'll be able to complete stuff much quicker. What do I want to build here? Currently, we're not having any issues with... I'm going to automate this. Oh, there are only 2 population here. Cool oppression. Not having any issues with unhappiness at the moment. I mean, I could preemptively build a coliseum, but since we're currently at war, I think another catapult... Trebuchet versus catapult. Catapult costs 40, trebuchet costs 60. I built a forum in Rome. I also want to build a coliseum because Rome has had trouble in the past with popularity. So there we go. Greece has foolishly moved his phalanx within range of my Praetorians. Understand, I'm not going to have hot odds here, but 88% is enough to cause me to attack. I believe that's a decent enough advantage. Split all these catapults up. Let's bombard. 37, 30. So we wanted to promote for collateral damage when it comes to catapults. 22. 15. And we promote for city attack when it comes to trebuchets. 2%. And 0. Okay, so next turn we can actually attack. Well, technically we could attack this turn. There's only an archer and a phalanx there. What are the odds? 86. Okay, do it. The phalanx is 70% because I don't have another city attack Praetorian. We're just going to leave it at that. Next turn should be easy enough to finish them off. And like I said, I'm going to be putting my Praetorian back on top of that mine to protect it. And also that way I don't have to pay the foreign or the outside your borders unit maintenance costs. You can see that is actually unit supply is what it was called. That was actually a thing in Civilization 4. I'm pretty sure they got rid of it in Civilization 5, and I'm sure they got rid of it in Civilization 6. Which, honestly, does not make that much sense to me. What's interesting is that Greece has not bothered doing anything else there after pillaging my fishing boats. So we're going to be sending over my upgraded trireme. Pretty sure it has a Combat 1 promotion. No, it doesn't. Okay, this trireme has a Combat 1 promotion. Right. Another Praetorian. Just going to fortify there for now. Because by and large, we're pretty much done with our campaign here to the east in Greece. What are our odds with this trebuchet? Well, we did it. And we're going to attack with that trebuchet as well. And it won. So now we have access to our first victory resource. The victory resources are important because without them, we're not going to be able to win a score victory. Obviously, I could just take out all the civilizations, but it might not be as fast. We'll see. We have 250 turns. How many turns are left out of curiosity? 225. So we spent 25 turns on this so far. That gives us plenty of time to actually take over another victory resource and still have time left to win. Culture, of course, in Sparta. And now I think what we can do is start transporting some of these units back over across to fight in Syracuse. So that's the plan. Obviously, island hopping is a little bit more complicated. Let's talk to him once. He would give me the world map. I have this romantic notion of taking Syracuse from him, but it might actually make more sense in the short run to just kill, or to focus on killing Carthage instead. How many units are in this city? A fair few, actually. Okay, I say we make peace with them. And now we're going to be focusing on Carthage instead. I mean, we can always declare war on him again and whatnot, but for now, we're at peace. So by island hopping here, this is going to give us an advantage. Yeah. So the thing about trebuchets, right? Using them for defending cities is not always the best because they have promotions for attacking cities. So while they're good at defending cities, they're even better at attacking cities, provided they're properly promoted. So let's get some of these galleys. Actually, this galley here with the trebuchet in it needs to be moved over here. Could actually use a few more galleys, I think. So I'm just going to be loading units from that city. It'll save time in the long run. So we're going to be running all of our units back over there. I think I want to keep... one Praetorian should be enough per city here. It depends. See, the AI is not very good at amphibious attacks, so I'm overall not too concerned about it. We'll leave 2 in Athens and then 1 in these other 2 cities, I think. Otherwise, we're paying maintenance costs for units that aren't doing a whole lot. Obviously, in the mainland of Rome itself, I only have 1 archer per city because I'm not too worried about being invaded. Providing I provide security against anything that comes by land, most likely anything that comes by sea can be dealt with. The AI is just not too strong in terms of navy. I also have a couple of Praetorians around the land here. I think we might want to build a galley next. That could be a strong choice. How long would that take? 3 turns. Pretty decent. We can also build a barracks. I mean, we might actually want to build a few buildings here before jumping into another war. I'm not sure. But we're going to build a couple more galleys like that. Trebuchet here, examined work city. So this city currently needs more happiness. So we could build a Colosseum here. But overall, what I think I'm going to do is build a galley, because we need galleys. And then we're going to get a worker over here and we're going to build the Colosseum. But we're going to need galleys to transport our units around the place, because if we're going to Carthage, we're going to need a fair number of galleys. I'm not going to be transferring units across these islands like 4 at a time. That's pretty low. So if I can transport 8 at a time, that's much stronger, and it makes it much harder for him to take my army out. I also might want to start producing a few spearmen to counter his cavalry. So he does have these cavalry here. Okay, our first galley over here. It can stay there for the moment. And our triremes are going to be protecting the galleys, of course. We might want to build a couple more of those to fight Hannibals. Okay, so we can start loading units into this galley. Let's give you... Where is my healing Praetorian? My healing Praetorian is in this city. So actually, what I want to do is get this Praetorian, give him Combat 2 promotion, send him into Athens, and then we're moving the healing Praetorian out of Athens, and we're going to be bringing him along on our campaigns. We currently have 1 of 2 units loaded. Let's load up a catapult, and then we're going to sail this galley over to the mainland of Rome. Now, I mentioned this before, that this city here has trouble with production, so I gave it a couple extra tiles, and I've built a cottage on one of those tiles that's going to introduce an additional hammer, essentially doubling the production of the city just like that. We're also going to build a cottage on this tile, and then those workers should go over there and start working on chopping those forests down to build a Colosseum. Okay, trebuchet in Taranto. I don't know. Ooh, significant maintenance there. We're currently at our max population. I don't like this. Working city water tiles is never a good thing. Let's build another worker. The problem with working water tiles, instead of working a grassland, for example, because they produce the same amount of food and commerce. 2 food, 2 commerce. Grassland produces 2 food, 2 commerce with a hamlet. So if you work on cottages instead, you're going to, in the long run, get a lot more from it. If we turn on resources here, like right here, you can see this village, 34 turns of town. I'm getting double the gold from that compared to working a water tile. So if we can work grassland tiles, that is preferable to working water tiles. Our forces are under attack by barbarian. Where was that? Oh, it was actually this Praetorian right here. Yeah, as you can see, right here is a barbarian state. So having these units here is going to be pretty important. I think I actually might want to block it off entirely. We're going to promote this Praetorian for Combat 1 and send him over there. It's going to create a Praetorian shield. We also need to station units here and here. And then we'd be fully blocked off from the barbarians, I think. Obviously, Greece. Yeah, I think Greece can defend from barbarians themselves. So this Praetorian can go up there right now. Would that be within my borders? Yes, I would be within my borders. Okay, as you can see, the Celts are up to stuff over here, the Celtic Empire. They are actually quite active. This is Celt? Yeah. Yeah, they're actually quite active in that area. I believe it was Greece that gave us the map that allowed us to see that. So that would explain why all of a sudden it appeared without me exploring over there. You can actually rotate the unit models if you have unit animations enabled in their profile box for whatever reason, if you so wish. So we hit Greece pretty hard. As you can see, we're starting to accumulate victory points now ourselves. Unload these units from the galley. That way we don't have to sail into the city next turn. And for now, all these units should just fortify. I'm going to be moving them out shortly, but always give galleys first strikes because they can't stand up to military ships anyway. So that's always a good idea. Another Praetorian in Rome. I'm not exactly sure where I went to invade first when it comes to these islands. Like, I could invade Gao, but that's on the island of Syracuse. So most likely Greece would immediately take over all of this territory. So I'd probably do better with these islands. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be too up on the exact terminology. To me, okay, we want to give an additional promotion to this Praetorian. And here we have another galley built. To me, the stories always mattered more than the specifics. So that's what you're going to sort of be putting up with. I will try not to be misleading in any way, but overall, I focus more on story than on the actual locations and names. I mean, names and locations are important, but that's kind of stuff that you get bogged down trying to memorize, and you miss out on a lot of really cool, like, overarching themes and stories that are centered around those characters. Okay, so we built a galley here. I think we want another galley, honestly. And we might want to build a trireme in here. Trireme, I think that's right. Trireme. I'm pronouncing it trireme. If I'm wrong about that, do correct me. I could look it up, obviously, but not in the middle of a game. You have a couple of unhappy cities here now, which means chopping for that Colosseum is going to be important. Maybe I'll just start working on the Colosseum without chopping for it. We are working on a worker, but might not be fast enough. Let's get you guys over here. We really can start invading pretty soon. How are we looking? This should have a mine built. See, this is not very efficient. Focus on the mine and focus... Oh, that stagnates my growth, though. Okay, focus on food production and the town. I think that's going to be better overall. This town is our most productive now. The city, I should say, after building that mine. Growth 12 turns. We have happy populace. So, yeah. I think we're going to focus this worker on other areas. Colosseum in 8 turns. I'm just looking here at potential improvements I could make to the land. Not a whole lot. The first thing we should focus on are any cities working water tiles, except water tiles that have bonus resources on them. So we might actually move this worker back over here and build a mine on that hill tile. Trebuchet. We have a couple galleys here. I think we're going to move them to Rome, and that's where we're most likely going to invade from first. As I continue transferring units. I thought I told all these units to sleep. Okay, never mind. You guys will go into the thingamajig next. All catapults move to that tile. And I think what we're going to do is actually leave 2 Praetorians back here, because they're likely going to be barbarians that attack me. So having a couple of extra Praetorians to run around dispatching them is going to be it's going to be a boon overall. A smart move, hopefully. Okay, we're going to promote him for Combat 1, and then I think we might actually go exploring a little bit. Just to scout out to see what our potential threats are. And you also get combat 1. Oh wait, this one actually has 2 promotions coming. Should I promote against melee? It's a good question. Because Praetorians, their greatest weakness really are melee units, because they can hold out against mounted units, but with things like axemen, they're not so adept at dealing with them. And we also need a workboat. So once we finish that trireme, remember to do a workboat, right? Right. Jacques. Okay, a great merchant has been built in a faraway land. Let's get this galley into position. We're going to start loading units onto this galley here. All of you units, just fortify there for now. You have another galley built. And another galley built. So we have quite a few galleys here now. Once we start moving them all into position. Oh. Greece is monkeying around over there. He might actually try to take that barbarian city. Not too much of a concern to me at the moment, but might be something to keep an eye on for the future. Now, this city is very productive. So I'm thinking this would be a very good city to pump units out of, which means barracks might actually be a good investment here. We could build a coliseum and increase the population, which might increase productivity in the long run, but I think in the short run, we're going to try to use this as a city to pump units out of. Focus a little bit more on specialized cities rather than just having them all build, military units. So I built we wanted to build a coliseum next in this city for the happiness. And we have finished our cottage here. So now we're definitely looking at a total of 4 hammers per turn. It's fairly productive now compared to a lot of cities. Like this city's producing 5 hammers per turn, so pretty close. As I said, it's competitive. This city is unhappy because it's too crowded. We need to focus on building mines there. That might actually be what I do instead. With these workers, let's build mines here. Who has access to the copper? This city does. It's working it. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, overall, we're not working our cottages because we don't have enough population in those cities. So I'm moving all units to Rome. Oh, we can actually see the Celts have taken over the silver. I was tempted to try settling there myself, but I guess that's not going to happen. And since the Celts are there, that means we don't have to worry too much about barbarians at this point. Because obviously the Celtic Empire is at war with the barbarians as well. So as Rome, we are relatively secure here. Make sure to unload both Praetorians, and we're going to send the galley back, load a couple more units onto it. Like that. And march these Praetorians over to Rome. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to get our units where they need to go. I'm not exactly sure I should even build a road on this tile. I don't think I'd benefit from it in the long term. So instead, we're going to be focusing on building a mine at the very least. Oh, we're actually making a fair bit of gold here. We have 637, so I think I'm going to turn up the research rate a little bit. So we're going to go from 26 to 18 turns for our next research. Luckily, as Rome, we don't have a whole lot to research here, just a lot of Praetorian upgrades. Compared to a lot of other civilizations, they have a couple of research trees, but as Rome, we're pretty much focusing on one unit here. It does make things relatively more simple. Colosseum was completed here in Rome. That will give us the expansion we need. We can now grow to 1 more population. Actually, we can grow to 2 more population once we get rid of the horrible oppression debuff from whipping the population or whipping production for the forum. What we're going to focus on here, interestingly enough, I think is a barracks at this point. A library might be tempting as well. Okay, let's do this city instead. This is the one where I actually got some more production going. How are we looking? 502. I think we want to build a courthouse here. In the long run, it's going to save us a lot of gold. So Rome is definitely our most scientific city, so I think a library makes sense in this case. So we're going to focus on specialization. So Rome is going to be more cultured. We're going to be producing, it's going to be a trade center. So we're going to be producing extra gold and science there. And then this city here is going to be more production focused. So we're going to be building a lot more units in there. Hopefully, I hope anyway, to build the heroic epic in that city. It is very productive at the moment, and Heroic Epic will double our military unit production in that city, making for some very fast unit production times. Anyway, so yeah, we pretty much concluded our campaign against Greece. It is around about 30 minutes, so I like to cut these off there. 30 minutes is a pretty nice time chunk, I think, to make these episodes. It makes it more episodic. Anyway, yeah, we finished our campaign against Greece. We have our first victory resource, and we're gearing up for our first war with Carthage. So anyway, thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.